Greetings, salutations, and bienvenue. My name is Joe Bichetto, and this is Memory Card News for July 27th, 2018. It's Friday, and I'm starting to look a little less like Rudolph, so, happy days, happy days. Our top story today, though, Halo Infinite adds a co-developer. Halo Infinite being developed by 343, getting help from Skybox Labs, a Vancouver-based developer, about 100 people. This is not the first time Skybox has helped on 343's Halo games, helping with Halo 4-5, Halo 5's Forge mode, and Halo 5's Xbox One X enhancements. So they kind of get the idea. Apparently, most of the 100-person team of developers is working on a Halo Infinite currently. Yes, I got this story from Eddie Macic at GameSpot. Make sure to shout out to them. I think that's cool. Halo Infinite is a title I believe is going to be the launch of Xbox's next generation. It just seems like with the timing of where it is and when the new generation is supposed to come, it would make more sense to have it really come out and kick ass at the start of the next generation, especially since they know from this generation how big that first impression is. So that's just me, but I just thought it was cool. There's some Halo Infinite news. I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of that, so there we go. Detroit developer Quantic Dream loses court case over harassment. This comes from Liz Lehner. Oh no. Phone call. Liz Lehner at Variety. Yep, so just in France. This doesn't have anything to do with the lawsuit that Quantic Dream brought against the French media who reported that they have a toxic work environment, that, hateful and sexist, racist images of employees got spread around via email. This was more a employee sued them regarding the photos, but the report is not clear on what happened. I think the way the article makes it sound is somebody got offended and then Quantic Dream dismissed them, and the courts determined that was dismissal without probable cause. So the case can still be appealed by Quantic Dream, but I don't think that looks too good for them. And honestly, kind of fuck them. If everything that they are accused of is true, and I'll take that, that little caveat, then they don't really deserve some. It's 2018, and just how ham-fisted your game is, it really is almost more irksome to me than what I guess Ubisoft does, where they don't approach politics at all. It's you went in deep with Detroit, quoting Martin Luther King Jr., and you want to sit there and have a toxic work environment, but then also claim you're doing good things on a social front. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know. I'm really curious to see how this turns out, and I don't know when we're gonna see this all resolved, but hopefully by the end of the year, because I think that would be a nice little way to go out 2018. The Escapist relaunches with no politics pledge. This comes from Rebecca Valentine at GameIndustry.biz. Escapist was this really political magazine launched in 2005 with Russ Pitts, who left to found Polygon, but is now back to relaunch The Escapist. I was never a fan. This is all starting to click in. What's been really interesting, and I saw a lot of people on Twitter, the no politics angle to it. It seems kind of a lot of outlets are bashing them for it. A lot of writers are bashing them for it. There's a lot of inherent politics, especially with different writers, specifically women, people of color, in this post-Gamergate world. it's hard for games to not be political, whether you want it to be or not. And Pitts did come out on Twitter and kind of walk that quote back a little bit. Like, they'll talk about politics, but they're going to try to be apolitical or something to that nature. A really weird story for sure, but I saw somebody tweeted, and I'm sorry I'm not able to recall, that, whether they are political or aren't political, like, it's the fact that the escapist is going to be alive. It's that people are going to be able to write. They're building an editorial team as we speak, more likely. So it is like, whether you believe in it or not, I don't think it's doing anything necessarily bad. It's just like more bark than bite, but it's still people getting to write. So it reminds me of that Scott Benson quote, make art, make rent, and help others do the same. So it really was a nice kind of perspective shift of that tweet. But it is dumb that they don't want to do politics. Just get after it, Haas. H1Z1 Battle Royale gets PS4 release date and Battle Pass. This comes from Game Rant by Dalton Cooper. Thank you, Google Chrome, for sizing yourself as you did. So H1Z1 Battle Royale on PS4, currently in open beta. It lost 91% of its player base on PC because of PUBG and Fortnite. So moved over to PS4 and actually has seen a lot of success, probably because PUBG isn't there. So it is really the only, we'll say, pure shooting battle royale. The release marked not only by the exit of open beta, but the addition of 2 new weapons and a new vehicle. I think that's pretty cool. Honestly, I hopped into H1Z1 just the other day and was not super impressed by it. It was just kind of it was real glitchy, real slow. It really, I don't know, it does really show how refined Fortnite is, at least. But I want to, play something where building isn't contingent upon victory. I think that's a totally different skill. And so, I don't know if this comes with a patch to make it run better, but it was just so slow, and getting in and out of matches took forever. I couldn't say I'd recommend it, and I think if I was going to do a review on it, I would definitely put in more time. I only played 2 matches and did not last long in either of them, but I think for what I'm looking for, I'm going to wait for Black Ops 4 Blackout Mode or Battlefield 5's Battle Royale, something that the big AAA can bring their, refined shooting mechanics to. But, it is cool to see H1Z1 finding new life on PS4. We'll put it that way. But speaking of Battlefield 5, Battlefield 5's big new multiplayer mode will arrive after the main game launches. This comes from Charlie Hall at Polygon. Fans will have to wait a bit for the first Grand Operation. So Grand Operation is this massive multiplayer experience. Not an MMO, but thank you, friggin' trucks. Anyways, Grand Operations, 64-player experiences, 20-minute long matches is what DICE has said. Carries off from the just plain operations, I guess, at in Battlefield 1, and it's going to take specific battles and situations from World War II and make them into these large kind of narrative multiplayer matches, which I think is super cool and could really get me into it. I would imagine the first one is just going to be storming Normandy, but you could have some from Stalingrad, Battle of Britain. There's just so much cool stuff you could do with this Grand Operation, and it is a bummer that it is going to come out a little later, but I think that's going to really hook me more, especially because the single player war stories seem to not be as interesting as Battlefield 1's were. I really loved those so much. I mean, as a history teacher, I'm sure you can imagine. But yeah, that could get me right into it, and I am still excited for Battlefield 5, which comes out October 19th to everybody. There's some weird stuff with EA Origin Access and premium modes, but whatever. Speaking of release dates, Taiko no Tatsujin Drum Session, or I guess it's commonly referred to as Taiko Drum Session, a new entry in the amazing Japan rhythm game series, will release on November 2nd for the PS4 and Nintendo Switch. This looks like, I'm pretty sure this was a Japanese arcade rhythm game, and it is very Japanese. Let me really emphasize it for you. If you haven't checked this out, go check out the trailer. But this is really like, apparently this rhythm game is really good because it has gotten a lot of buzz. There's like a Taiwanese version, I think, released on Switch that you could get because the Switch isn't region locked. That was in English, so people freaked out about that. There's a lot of weird, like, cult classic kind of buzz around this game, and I think I'll check it out. I haven't played a good rhythm game in quite some time, but yes, search Taiko Drum Session if it sounds interesting to you. Very colorful, lot going on, and a game I hope to check out this November. And our final story for the week. Microsoft invests $500,000 in coding and tech training for students of color. This comes from James Batchelor, a UK editor for GamesIndustry.biz. They have specifically partnered with Black Girls Code, allowing them to open a 14th chapter in the firm's hometown of Seattle, and have also extended their partnership with Technology Access Foundation, which was an organization led by a former Microsoft exec. I just wanted to end the week with a big feel-good story. Microsoft, obviously one of the big players in the games industry, really trying to promote like the growth of our industry through the disenfranchised. And yeah, like, I don't know what more I can say, especially being like a straight white guy coming from this position of power, but like, this story is just, it doesn't need pontification, especially for me, but it is just that it's just great, that more people are getting into games or even just coding, and that Microsoft is willing to kind of promote that and really invest in the future. I'm just going to sit here and sound like an idiot. So I'll leave it at that. Good game, Microsoft. And that's the way it was for July 27th, 2018. If you liked this video, please hit that like button. That is what it's for. If you like what Memory Card's doing, feel free to go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. If you really like what we're doing, though, check us out on patreon.com/memorycardgames. Feel free to throw me a few bucks and I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Have a great weekend. I'll see you all on Monday. Peace.